Women's finals are set. Semi-finals day finally comes to an end. I hope you guys enjoyed the action. We're the tennis geeks, Purav Raja, Somdev Devarman, here to break it down for you. A little review on the match, and what a match we saw today. Two matches actually, Sabalenka, Navarro, and then finally we saw Pegula coming on top against Mukova. Let's start though by giving a quick mention to our first Grand Slam champions, Irani and Vavasori, mixed doubles champions coming through against Townsend and Young. Phenomenal effort, Som.
Yeah, phenomenal effort. First of all, good morning to all our viewers in India and good night to all our viewers in America, wherever you are. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for watching us. But yes, the mixed doubles was, Donald Young and Taylor Townsend. Where do we begin over here? Because
Well, we begin by saying Donald Young's not played a professional match this year.
singles or doubles.
Yeah, I mean, he's a professional pickleball player. That's how, I mean,
It's
that's,
true.
that's, yeah.
It's funny because it's true.
I mean, but only thing is Taylor Townsend is world class. Donald Young has always been world class. So the thing is that he has come with enough tennis pedigree to do this. But I mean, you got to think that the reason I mention this so much is you got to think this is the nice way of saying goodbye for Donald Young.
Oh, it's an ideal way, I think. Keeping in mind that Taylor Townsend and grew up in Atlanta. That's where Donald Young is from. He was the first one that made a massive breakthrough over there, and then to kind of he hasn't played a single tennis match. I mean, yeah, he was top 40 in the world in 2012 when I played him.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I'm talking about playing him, 12, 15 years ago.
And Taylor Townsend, one of the best doubles players in the world today for sure on the women's side. I mean, everybody fears her, and but credit to the Italians, Irani and Vavasori. They were more feisty. They came up with the right shots at the right time, and I managed to catch this match. And every time they were in trouble, Irani managed to hold her serve somehow, her forehands, and then Donald Young actually missed a few balls, and that you expect of him.
It happens. It happens. But I
On
mean,
big points.
they kept it tight. But for Vavasori, his first major title.
Wow. And I suspect there's more to come. I mean, he's already a top 10 player. Bolelli playing with him. I mean, there's more to come from this guy. We obviously saw it with Bopana in the Australian Open final.
Yep, and so Vavasori, Irani, that's our first Grand Slam champions. But the match we just witnessed, Pegula versus Mukova. I mean, where do we begin over here? Because Mukova.
Firstly, I'd like to say congratulations. You called this a long time ago. You said if it goes three, it's going to be Pegula. I had my doubts. I honestly thought that I wasn't 100% sure. I had my doubts, and rightly so. Mukova was 6-1, 2-love up.
I mean, let's just talk about this because Jessica Pegula said she figured it out, and I think that was the most important thing for me is that she kind of, 6-1, 2-love volley on top of the net, 6-1, 2-love. Jessica Pegula has no idea what's going on. Mukova is putting on a master class. She's drop shotting her. She's hitting backhand up the line. She's coming in. She's hit ridiculous volley after ridiculous volley, not giving her any hope whatsoever. And then 2-love, one missed volley. And how often do we see things turn around with 1 point?
Exactly. And I think, the big difference here was in the first set, the receiving points won for Mukova was 60%. In the second set, it was 50%. Pegula winning more points now, serving. And then the last set was 40%. So obviously Pegula has figured out something to how to serve to Mukova and how to hold those service games. Because let's be honest, she was outplayed for a lot of that match. She was done. That volley goes over, it's 3-love, the match is done. I mean, just on confidence, the match is done. 6-1, 3-love, semi-finals of a slam. Somehow you hold that game and you feel like, a fresh air. You feel like this is a
new chance.
new chance.
New chance.
You feel like, oh, I finally have a chance to be in this match. At 6-1, 3-love, you're thinking this could be a whitewash. You're looking at 6-1, 6-love.
It could be embarrassing.
Yeah, it could be embarrassing. I don't want to be an American there playing a match, losing 6-1, 6-love in a semi-final. All of a sudden, she misses that volley. You're like, oh, it could be my day.
It could be, and then she manages to hold serve over there, somehow keeps it together. And then the problem solving for me, the tenacity, the fight, the willpower. When you're it's so funny because when you're talking about a Grand Slam semi-final match, a lot of people out there would be, focus so much on the weapons of Jessica Pegula or what she did great. Everything she did great was not so much about tennis, but so much more about Jessica Pegula. She's digging deeper. She's realized I'm going to keep Mukova
Do you
back.
think the on-court coaching had something to do with that?
I mean, that was after the second set.
But but
I
she
think the
went.
match was over
But
after the
no,
second set.
she went to the. You think she got another voice coming in at 6-1 love saying, and then she went there at the end of the set, or do you think she figured it out?
I think 6-1 love, she got lucky. Mukova has a volley here. She needs to put that anywhere in the court. The point is over. She gets lucky. She uses that opportunity. I mean,
Credit to Mukova, but this is becoming a habit. Credit to Mukova, it's becoming a habit. You can't lose matches from being 6-1 love, outplaying opponents. Definitely the better player, even on the day maybe. Pegula figured it out. For sure, Pegula was the better baseline player. She came up with great forehands. But if you just talk about guile and tactics and the way to approach tennis and the way she approached the match to Jessica Pegula, for sure she was the better player for a lot of that match.
I mean, she was, but again, what happens at how you finish a match in these kind of matches, how you finish a match, I think matters a lot more than how you start Jessica Pegula.
She served so much to the Mukova forehand. Mukova started missing forehands. She started, when the slice was going in. I think also something that we got to understand is that Mukova came in with a plan of affecting heights. Pegula figured it out. It's slice, she had to hit low. The high ball, she was lost in the first set. She was lost for a set and a half. Slowly, she figured out that this height, I can manage this height. I can manage hitting the ball from low. I can hit from high. I can hit from waist
high. And I think after that, a couple of things we have to understand, I feel like, is number one, Mukova, while the tennis she plays is very pleasing to the eye, because she does great things. One of the volleys at 4-1 was a low volley this high over the net, and she goes topspin volley and finds an angle over there.
One of the passes was a slice backhand angle pass winner.
So she does things that other women just find it very hard to do.
Yeah.
So that's
anyone finds it hard. The backhand slice pass.
So that's the one thing I would say. But when you're talking about these kind of matches, I feel like she's playing high risk tennis. Mukova loves playing great tennis, but high risk because she's coming in. Once Pegula figures out, how do I keep her at bay? How do I not allow her to step in on every second ball? She wants to hit backhand up the lines. If that's low percentage, I'll bait her into it again because I'll get 2 errors and 1 winner, and that's a winning strategy. Yeah. So I think what Pegula did, incredibly well was she understood that this is how she needs to play in order to win the match, which was stay solid, not miss she doesn't need to hit a whole lot of winners, but she needs to keep Mukova at bay and needs to make Mukova feel that she needs to force the issue.
Yeah, and shout out to Pegula's family as well. And that's a bit of a personal topic for me because I always feel like the parent involvement in an athlete is, overpowering at times. And we see that on the tennis tour, and credit to Pegula's family and the way the dad was sitting so far away and, in letting Jess enjoy the moment because it was her moment and it was her time to really shine. And, he could have easily sat there in the box and just been, taken all the TV time.
Yeah, and I think, classy.
Yeah.
Super classy by the whole family, by Jess as well, because you take a look at the opportunities that she has, the ones that she's created for herself. And when I look at Jess Pegula now, it's like, yeah, she didn't have the financial burden, but she had other things that she had to deal with. Over here, coming in, she lost 6 quarterfinals in a row, wins her 7th one. How? By beating Iga Swiatek. In the semifinals, she's, maybe favorite, maybe not, 50-50 match, down, almost out, back against the wall, again shows her personality and comes out and wins those kind of matches. So for Jessica Pegula to do what she did in New York City, in the home state where she's from, her whole family, their sister, their husband also was, subdued, down, just letting Jessica Pegula's moment, and she handled it with class. I love the on-court interview as well. But moving into the final.
Yeah.
Unless you have another word on this one.
No. I think, moving into the final for sure, because it is, we got to talk about that. She's finally broken the shackles. Jess Pegula has broken the shackles. Now, can Aryna Sabalenka break the US Open shackles and actually win the tournament? Or is it Pegula's match to win? But a little bit about the Sabalenka-Navarro match before we get to the final. And the Sabalenka-Navarro match was one that really shone for me because both players played their best tennis in periods of that match. But Sabalenka, that forehand, Som, just seems to amaze me. Every time she hits that forehand, everybody is now saying she hits it 1 kilometer harder. 78 miles an hour. That's as hard as Alcaraz hits his forehand. And we keep saying, the power in tennis, in women's tennis, is not as much. That's not true.
No, it's not true. And we talk about the power of Sabalenka, but also talking about the consistency. This is her 28th win against anybody on hard courts outside the top 10.
Wow.
She doesn't lose to people outside the top 10. Now, you know,
This year, you mean?
yeah, in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
In the last 12 months. So just talking about, the fact how she played her semi-final last year, and I think this is very important in context to Sabalenka right now, in context to Sabalenka making the finals, is last year in the semi-finals, she was playing Madison Keys. She lost the opening set 6-love, then win 7-6, 7-6, but an ugly, ugly match
Yeah.
where both players were nervous. Madison Keys was out hitting herself. Sabalenka was doing a lot of the same, and Sabalenka squeaked that one through, and that's what led to her meltdown in the final against Goff. Goff played great, but it was a shade of what we saw.
You see another meltdown?
I don't, because I think the way she played against Navarro shows everybody now, shows her now that Arina Sabalenka is an improved player, and those yips that she used to have with strokes, with serves, with whatever else, I think it's behind her. And now she's a two-time Grand Slam champion. I think there's a very good chance she's going to be a third. But again, just Navarro versus Sabalenka.
Credit to Navarro. She's a
Unbelievable.
UVA player, so a little bit of college.
I love that.
Somdev's college history coming to the fore. And, credit to Navarro. She's going to be top 10 in the world. She's going to be top 10. I mean, come the rankings on Monday, she's going to be top 10 on the rankings. That must play a big part for you coming from the same college. And now you've had two doing the same thing with Danielle Collins and Emma Navarro.
Emma Navarro, Danielle Collins, Brandon Nakashima.
I don't think he's going to be top 10.
I don't think he's going to be top 10, but but what for me stands out with Navarro, 3 years ago, she won NCAA's 2021. 3 years later, she's top 10 in the world.
Yeah.
That transition is so very hard. To first come into the tour, then to make your presence felt, then to be a proper top 20 player. Then she made quarterfinals at Wimbledon, disappointing there, but now comes to her home slam, makes semis, makes the top 10, and gives Arina Sabalenka, the favorite, a run for her money.
If you're a girl and you want to be top 10 in the world, go to the University of Virginia. That's the motto.
conclusion.
No, but honestly, Navarro, challenging for Grand Slam titles for a foreseeable future. That's credit to her solidity in the game. She's a comeback queen. She's relaxed. She's chilled. She's got all the tools. She's a hard worker. She's got all the tools needed to stay in the top 10 in the world. And that's often what matters to me more than cracking into the top 10 is how to stay there. People have to realize, like, when we were up there, it was a big thing that I stood in the top 100 for a long period of time, or you were there for a long period. Everyone comes in, but how long can they stay there? And that's testament to all the people that are there. For Roger, Rafa, Novak, and we talk about the very top, we talk about them and the longevity of their career. And I see the same for Emma Navarro.
Yeah, form is temporary, class is permanent.
Yeah.
Emma Navarro seems to have that sort of class. But again, just coming to Arina Sabalenka, if she had any hiccups, it was serving 5-4.
Yeah.
She gets broken, gets into a tiebreak, double fault, love 2 down.
Bad habits die hard. And I think that's I don't even think that's a bad habit. It's just getting tight. We all do it. It's so normal. I mean, serving for the match is the toughest task in the world. It's the toughest task in tennis for sure, because it's you keep saying serving for the match. How many times is everybody, all the best servers got broken at serving for the match? So why is that such a? It's a big thing for us because Sabalenka's hit 500 double faults. That's the problem, and we look at that and we say, oh, this is the problem because it could have.
Is it coming again? Is it the question always? I feel like as a tennis watcher is it coming again?
Yeah.
But for me, she again erased all of that because 3-2 in the tie break. She plays an 18-shot rally, 18-20, whatever.
18-ball rally.
And crazy, and then goes, boom, hits a forehand winner. And suddenly, adrenaline's back on her. She's forgotten about the double fault. And she goes out there and she dominates the tie
So I'll
break.
tell you the first point. The first point to look out for in the final is, will Sabalenka double fault? And that's the first point. Will she miss random balls and will she double fault? Which leads me to the bigger picture of the first point of, will she get tight? I leave the second point to you.
I mean, will she get tight is yes. But for me, it's like, will Jessica Pegula start the same way as she started this semi-final? Because if she starts as slow as she did, because she came in there very measured. She said, I'm not going to make a mistake. That's the mentality that it came out with. Versus at the end, she said, I'm not going to make a mistake, but I'm not going to allow her to step in. And that means I'm going to hit the ball through the court. I'm going to keep her on the baseline, keep her at bay. And that's two very different mentalities.
And the third point we have to go is the crowd. For sure, the crowd has to play a part here. And, what better place to do it than New York in Jessica Pegula's home slam? I mean, she's known for so many different reasons in that county, and I think that's in that state. And I think, Pegula should probably watch out for the power of Sabalenka.
I mean, she knows she played her in the finals of Cincy. Sabalenka was dominant there, so you expect Pegula to come out. Again, if this is just a pure tennis match, Sabalenka is the winner. But we just saw in the semis that they're not only tennis matches played on paper. The tennis matches played with the emotions. There's tennis matches played with momentum. Somebody misses one volley, the
Let's
match
be honest,
turns around.
It's a Grand Slam final.
It's a Grand
It's
Slam
a
final.
Grand Slam final. I feel the ball. I mean, I've played very few finals, none at this stage. And I'm telling you, I feel the ball very different in the final.
Of course. And then things happen very quickly in a final from a tennis player's perspective. Again, I feel like just thinking about what happened with Sabalenka, the breakdown against Coco Gauff, the way the crowd got involved, those sort of memories.
But why do we feel the ball different in a final? Why do you think we feel the ball different? Is it because of the trophy on the line? Is it because the points are so different, the money is so different? We win so little in tennis.
I mean, leave everything aside. Like, let's just put US Open final. I mean, I can talk to you about NCAA finals or, tour level finals.
No, but even
which I've lost.
NCAA finals, there's only one winner. So nobody remembers the finalist. Nobody, I mean, I'm giving credit to everyone that made the finals.
I'm sorry, I made the finals once. Nobody remembered that.
Exactly, right? Nobody remembers. They just look at you and they go, oh, 2-time NCAA winner. And that's and you beat Isner in the final and you beat JP Smith in the final. I know that. But I don't know who you lost to in the final.
Anyway, I lost to Benjamin Kolofel, but leave that aside. But why do people get nervous in a final? Everything's on the line. I mean, if you look at, I think Pegula, Sabalenka, nobody cares about the money. Let's be honest, right?
Sofia Kenin, Emma Raducanu, Richard Krajicek. I'll just give you names that I don't remember. Malavai Washington was in a final. Do you?
You just said it.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I remember it as a tennis geek. Nobody else remembers it.
Yeah, I mean, and studying history sometimes can be harsh because you forget the tone on which a match was played. You forget the emotions in which a match was played sometimes. But I think coming into this final, everybody knows that everything's on the line here. Sabalenka looking for her first US Open, her third major. Jessica Pegula, this is a dream run, and she's done it the hard way. She's done it after coming back from injury. She's done it after, beating Iga Swiatek. She's done it after winning Toronto, making the finals of Cincy. She's played as many matches as anybody in leading up to the US Open, and so it's a well-earned final berth for Aryna Sabalenka as well. And I guess we can leave it at that because we're going to do a preview to the final a little bit later. I hope you guys enjoyed our review to both of these semi-finals, but a lot more action from us, the Tennis Geeks.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want down in that section, and we'll answer to your questions. And I hope you enjoyed watching our preview show. But who will win? Who will be the first Grand Slam champion on the women's side of 2024? Thanks for watching.